Shalom, giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakodash, double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone at rule well, and shalom to all the argument that are teaching this word with faith and truth and sincerity. I'm the brother Caleb from the GMS England, London Forecasters Camp, back with another lesson to help edify the Lord's elect. I always like to begin my lessons by saying that we are the real Hebrew Israelites, and the real Israelites is so-called Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans, West Indians, West Africans predominantly, but you will find Israelites that do look like the other nations, because we have been scattered amongst all nations to our various captivities. But if your seed line by your forefathers goes back to the man in the Bible that was named Israel, then you too are an Israelite, no matter what you may look like, because the book of Numbers 1 and the 18th verse says that your nationality is determined by the lineage of your forefathers. So I was just checking out some news, and I saw this article relating to this tennis star named Yi Bing-wu, a male tennis player. I think he's ranked, is it 60 internationally? They call it seeding, and so he's quite a up and coming professional tennis player. I think he's only 23. Now, this guy had an incident where he collapsed at Wimbledon a few weeks ago, apparently, and was forced to retire from that tournament. And now, 5 hours ago, he's collapsed at another tennis tournament and has been forced to retire. Now, you've got to bear in mind that this guy's only 23 years old, so realistically, he should be in the physical peak of his young career. But within the space of a few weeks, he's collapsed at 2 major tournaments. Now, for those of you that have been following this channel or following this truth for some time, you would know instinctively what has caused this. You know, it's that great unspeakable thing. The thing that we refer to as the Vicky Venom, Satan's semen, devil's juice, or the clot shot. That's basically what's caused this guy to be having heart problems, which is causing him to be passing out on the court. Now, this dude's career is pretty much finished, because when people took that shot, the side effects of that thing weren't obviously publicized by Esau, because Esau's the devil and he doesn't want you to know it. But many brothers, including myself, went into the fact that it can cause various things such as myocarditis, which is inflammation of the heart, which can obviously lead to things like heart failure, strokes, stuff like that. And also there are people who had many other various side effects. Now, what you're starting to see are a lot of those side effects manifesting. Now, Esau's not going to tell you what it is. It's just going to be like, oh, well, this person collapsed and that person fainted. And nah, man, this is because it's all by design, because Esau's looking to bring the population down. There's that famous TED talk of Bill Gates, which has been torn down, about him talking about how they wanted to reduce the population. And even just a week or two ago, you had Kamala Harris, the US Vice President, letting it slip that was their intention. So this ain't a game, man. This is life and death. And if you don't take heed unto what we're saying, the men of the Lord are saying, then you're going to get caught up in all these calamities, man. And this is just one example of those calamities, because Esau's going to come down with great wrath, because he don't want to lose his kingdom. If it was between him losing his kingdom and him murdering 100% or 99.99% of the population, Esau would do that. Because if you remember, the scriptures say, if Yahushua didn't speed up the time, that there would be no flesh left to save, because Esau was moving like a madman out here. He may be acting like he's upright and wearing a suit and tie and a man of peace, but really he was a murderer from the beginning, and he hasn't changed his ways. So let me give some precepts on this. So if you're taking heed to the word, you'd know that you weren't supposed to be getting any stabbing jabs. So this is Leviticus 19 and verse 28. It says, "Ye shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am the Lord Yahweh." So we're not supposed to be having cuttings in our flesh. So in order for you to take that clot shot, they wanted to, pierce your skin with the small sword, because those needles are nothing but small swords. You can have, Apostle Tar said, you can have a big sword, or you can have a small sword, or you can have a micro sword. That's a micro sword which Esau has used to slay. And a lot of people got caught out in that shit and have dropped dead as a result of it. And a great many more are going to do that soon too. We're only beginning to see the ramifications of that whole thing begin to come to pass. But you see, Esau's so slick that he thinks people have forgotten. If I go back to that video, right? I'm not going to read these out loud, but just read the comments. Some jokes in there. See, I'm not going to read them out loud. You can read them for yourself. And there was a previous video I was watching. I think it was this one. I'm not going to...
Do you actually rent with Hertz?
Yes. I love Hertz. Oh. Love Hertz.
See the comments. See, I'm not going to read those. You can read them for yourself. So Leviticus 19:28, "You shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am Yahweh." So that's not something we were supposed to be doing. Sirach 12 and verse 10 is a good one on this point. Forgive me, I'm yawning. It's late. Forgive me, I'm just yawning. It's a bit late here. Sirach 12 and 10. It says, "Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness." Actually, let me go to Psalm 64 and verse 64 first. Where are we at? Psalms 64. It says, to the chief musician, a psalm of David, "Hear my voice, O Most High God, in my prayer, and preserve my life from fear of the enemy. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity." Let's look up that word, insurrection. I think it means rising up.
Strong's H 7285. Regesh.
So the word
Second entry. Regsha.
Alright, regress. The word there for insurrection is regress. And its usage is throng in company, throng, scheming. So they're insurrection, they're scheming. Okay. So the word there would be for scheming. Okay. Hide me from their secret counsel. So the things that they do behind the scenes, the things that they don't disclose to your average everyday person. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked. Who are the wicked? Malachi 1 and 4 tells you Esau, the Edomites, are the wicked. It says, "Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword, and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of slaying snares privately. They say, who shall see them? So that whole clot shot, that was a massive snare, which they laid privately, saying, who shall see them? They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. But the Most High God shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves, and all that see them shall flee away. And all men shall fear and shall declare the work of the Most High God, for they shall wisely consider of his doing. The righteous shall be glad in Yahweh, and shall trust in him, and the upright in heart shall glory. Yes, you don't trust in Esau's V-solution. We trusted in the Most High, so a lot of us brothers, we dodged that bullet. And it's not really to sort of, I'm not saying that to boast as if we're somehow special. We're not. We just adhered to the word of the Lord. And I read to you in Leviticus 19 and 28, we're not supposed to be having cuttings on our flesh. And Proverbs chapter 3 and verse 5 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not unto your own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. So, we're on a path where we're doing our best to avoid the snares that Esau is attempting to lay privately. Now, the major snare that Esau's going to be coming with is the MOTB, which will be the next big thing. So obviously, if you're grounded and rooted up in the faith and have good knowledge of these scriptures, you would know what you are supposed to do and what you're not supposed to do when that time comes. If you're at the point when Esau's introducing the chip and you're still wondering if you should take it or not, boy, then I don't even know what to say, man, because your ass is probably going to get caught out there, because the prophets have been on the scene for long enough telling people, look, Revelation 13:16 on down, he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Now, as the apostles were going into at the live camp this week, the word there for right hand doesn't even mean your literal right hand. It means your power hand, meaning that, where your strength is. So it could be your left or your right, depending on the situation or, your circumstance. Because some people have their power in their left hand, some people have their power in their right. You have, left-handed people and right-handed people. But whatever hand you take it in, you're fucked. So don't take that mark, point blank period, because there's some people who want to try and be slick and think they can, go behind the Most High's back, and you will like, it says don't take it in my right hand, so if I take it in my left, then I'm not really going against the scriptures. Like, yeah, well, fuck you, man. If you got that mindset, fuck you, because you weren't seriously seeking to serve the Lord anyway. You were looking for that little loophole, that little gap in the scripture where you could fucking weasel your wretched ass through to try and somehow negate the prophecies and get around God's back. Nah, man. Fuck you, man. You take that chip and you deserve to die. Whether it's in your left hand, your right hand, you're fucked. Because Revelation 14 talks about the judgment for those that take that mark. And that's a great grievous judgment, man, because by you taking that mark, you're basically allowing Esau to brand you, and you're saying that you want to serve him forever. So anybody who takes that mark is worthy of death in the sight of Yahushua, because Yahushua ain't coming to negotiate. Yahushua is coming to slay and to conquer. The negotiations are done. When Yahushua comes back now, it's strictly business. So yeah, man, that tennis player, great example of what not to do. I mean, his career's through. I'm laughing, but it ain't even funny, man. The dude looks like he's on death's door. All thanks to Esau and his flipping serpents juice. So that, giving all praises, honor and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakadash, double honors unto the elders and apostles of great millstone that rule well. Shalom to all the Archean teaching this word with faith and truth. And I'm out for this one. And I'll catch you on the next. Shalom for now. Wa Baba Bao. Wa Kama Shalom.